my part of the country, we have said this severally, that there's a genocidal attack and attempt on the people of Benue, and by extension even Plateau, because of the fact that those who are being attacked and driven out of their homes. In the last report in Yelwata, you're a witness to that, and the number of people that were killed, burnt, innocent women and children. So that in itself already begins to confirm those allegations of genocide, which is what we have been crying out about in Benue. So the onus is on the government. So nobody is blaming the government as being responsible for it. Obviously not. But we're concerned that the government, yes, the government is not doing enough to handle that. If we're spending, again, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, because I've said in this platform, not this platform, but in this studio before, that if we're spending 15 trillion, which the Minister of Works cannot defend, on a road, what have we done about our security infrastructure? What are we doing about our security infrastructure? It is unheard of that we are planning such investment for an insecure environment. Who are the investors that we're trying to invite?
Okay. I know you're going to take it up from where he left off, but I want to ask you a question based on what he said, and this was another thing that was raised in Parliament. Where do we draw the line between telling the truth as it is and demarketing the country?
Okay, now it's important to always realize that in trying to address the issues that concern the country in an apolitical manner and in a manner that does not, like you pointed out, demarket the country, it does not prevent us from being truthful and seeking the required assistance. I recollect during the tenure of President Goodluck Jonathan, and I believe even during President Buhari's reign, there were attempts by the U.S. government to assist, to even provide some intervention with regards to the insecurity in the country. And there were reports that that was not very well handled by our own security apparatus here. So obviously, these things do not send the right signals about our willingness to have that matter settled. There are current and existing technologies, payload carrying drones that do not require any boots on the ground, that can identify the locations of these terrorists and take necessary action. So when we try to gloss over what we need to do, we now start to try to manage the situation. So for some of us, we would not be prevented because of our statutory rights from telling the truth. We're not trying to demarket the country, but we're trying to get those at the position of authority to do what is required and what is necessary. Okay. And I believe that even the government, even our president himself, can address factually what is going on in the country and call those required to intervene, the service chiefs, to do the needful, give them, an ultimatum, a deadline to resolve. Even our own governor on this TV network, if you recollect, mentioned the fact that he too alluded to the semblance of a genocide against our people in Benue, with the incessant attacks from who we have identified to a particular ethnicity.
Right, okay. I think this calls for, as Prof put it, more detailed action.
Yes, it should be escalated to the highest level, like he said.
Like he said,
yes.
Absolutely. Do we have Honorable Oluwole with us now? He is the Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs, and he's been trying to establish a connection. But I would like us to switch this conversation until we get Honorable Oluwole. Hopefully we can get him before we wrap up this conversation. Let me get your reaction to the appointment of Professor Joash Amupiton, the nomination. There are reactions now as to It doesn't seem like negative reactions for now, but there is just new information, which is that he was a lawyer to the APC in 2023.
Okay, so I am not holding beef for Mr. President, but I'm doing him a favor by clarifying, because I've done my own research, and from the records available, you know, court records, certified CTCs of court documents, he was not listed. There's an Osipiton, a Taiwo Osipiton, and not Amupiton, you know, on that legal team. So that, I believe, should put that to rest. I don't know if he got involved in another instance, but with regards to that legal team that was representing the president that I have records of, he was not part of that team. So, but the important thing to point out, and Professor Amupiton is somebody that I'm familiar with, that I know, and I even reached out to after his appointment, because I believe that there are certain things that we should address as a country. Again, we're at the verge of another fundamental period in our country that would enhance, just like we're talking about this U.S. issue, again, the profile and the image of our country. I don't know why, and this is my own concern, why we have jettisoned those same people in 2015 who were upright. Nigerians are asking, where are they? Who were upright and ensured that the will of the people was upheld. Because once we keep going to the academia, I am not denigrating them, I am not disregarding them, but we have seen over time, there's no statute that says it has to be somebody from the academia. It doesn't have to be a professor. It just has to be an upright citizen, non-partisan. And there are people like, for example, somebody who has in the past shown that kind of attribute, a Mikey Guinea, for instance, who caused prosecution of people, electoral officers who compromised.
All right, let me pause you here, because I'm told we need to take a quick break, and then we'll come back, we'll wrap up this conversation. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Politics Today. Honorable Gbillah, we're talking about Professor Amupiton. And I just want to ask you this, because we don't have time anymore. What do you expect from him? Because I've seen statements from opposition parties, and they don't seem to want to jump the gun here. Yes. Everybody is believing in him.
Well, yes, because the credibility or otherwise of our election starts with disappointment. And I believe that Mr. President should know that. Whatever efforts he's doing to attract investment into the country still boils down to our electoral process and the credibility of it. So it's important that we emphasize the need for expertise. While I know Amupiton personally, I know he has not had any experience in INEC. There are people in INEC who, like I mentioned one of previously, who have been proven to do the work. Why were people like Mike Guinea not considered? Is there any concern about such people who have shown forthrightness? So, but let me give Professor Amupiton the benefit of the doubt.
Just like
the civil societies are doing. But it is not a nomination that makes everybody cry uhuru.